Hey there. If you're a human who has ever felt like you're not enough, this video is for you. Here's the thing with not enoughness. It's sneaky. It can feel like a lot of things. It can feel like shame, inadequacy, imposter syndrome, having to strive and prove yourself to get a result to show that you are worthy and that you're enough. All in all, it doesn't feel great and it doesn't let you feel at home in your own skin. I want to give you some steps to deal with not enoughness the next time it shows up on your doorstep, because it will. I know, I have been there. I've struggled with not enoughness for years in my life. It's shown up for me as an athlete, at work, as a wife, as a dog mom, all of these areas. And I have tools these days to deal with it when it shows up. I can recognize it. And I want to teach you what those are so that you have them at your disposal, so that you can feel more and more and more like you are enough. All right. First thing to do, when you feel like maybe you're not enough, pay attention. Just notice what it is that you're saying to yourself, maybe saying about yourself to other people. Are you speaking with the language of not enough? It might sound like, oh, I must have this result, or I'm not going to feel very good about myself. Maybe I need to lose 10 pounds. I'm not fast enough. All sorts of different language. Listen to what you're saying. Also, just listen to your body. Check in. What are you feeling? Do you feel contracted or tense somewhere? Maybe that's telling you something. Our bodies are full of wisdom. Thing 2, you're not feeling great right now, and you might be tempted to be hard on yourself. Resolve to treat yourself with kindness and compassion. You deserve it. That might not be easy. Just do your best. Thing 3, notice what's going on around you. What are the circumstances that are contributing to you feeling like you're not enough? Did something happen at work? Did you get feedback that was maybe a bit challenging for you and now you're equating that with your own self-worth? At home, did you have a little snafu with one of the kids or with your partner? In sport, were you really, really hoping for a certain result and you didn't get it and now you feel less than? Just notice what's going on around you. Also notice what people are involved. Sometimes certain people can make us regularly feel like we're not enough. So just notice if there might have been a person involved in you feeling this way. You're gathering information so that next time in a similar circumstance or situation or around a certain person, you can offer yourself the chance to respond and feel differently. Thing 4, you're going to replace the narrative of not enough with a new one. In whatever you're saying to yourself around, I am not enough, let's change it to, I am enough. I didn't run fast enough today becomes, I went out for a run today. I'm just running the 5K. Just running the 5K when there's more race options to, I'm running the 5K, and that's pretty great. I am not enough. What if I am enough? Might not believe it, but what if I could believe it? So just changing what you're saying. And then step 5, you're going to practice this over and over, and it'll become more natural. And when not enough comes calling, you're going to recognize her or him or it and have a strategy to deal with not enoughness. Over time, it might show up less and less, and you might feel better and better in your own skin. So I want to give you an example. It's coming from the sports world. I work with athletes. I am an athlete, and a lot of my experiences are related to athletics. It'll translate to life, but just an example of how I could use these tools to feel better about myself. Here's the situation. It's 2004. I'm racing Ironman Canada for the second time, and I'd raced it the year before and had a really positive result for myself, a really positive outcome. I felt great and happy and all of these things. So I trained really hard the whole year to be even more prepared. I was also really exhausted because it was my last year of vet school. So I was pushing myself so hard, and I got to that start line unsure if I'd finish the race. I was so burned out and so exhausted and so overtrained. I finished the race and it went somehow quite well. And I was so proud of myself until I saw my dad. This was about, 15 minutes after the finish. And the first thing he says to me is, "What happened to you on the run? I thought you'd be an hour faster." Cool. Thanks, Dad. He was doing his best with what he knew. And I went from feeling amazing to feeling like garbage about myself. So I went from a place of enoughness to not at all enough. So pay attention. How was I feeling? Not enough. 2, treat yourself with kindness and compassion. Because I had that ability later in life, I was able to do this more and more. But at that time, I didn't actually treat myself with kindness. I went away and I worked harder. I took it to heart. I worked harder and I got more burned out and more tired. Oops. Thing 3, look at the circumstances around you and the people around you when you're feeling like you're not enough. So something I've learned is that for me, my dad does not mean to make me feel like I'm not enough, but it's what happens. It's what happens because of what he says. It's what happens because he has his own things that he kind of projects on me. It is what it is. So I've chosen to modify how I spend time with my dad. For a long time, he was not allowed to come to a race for me because it would turn it into a negative experience. So pay attention to the circumstances and the people and make changes where you can or need to. 4, replace the narrative. Back then, I wish I had told myself, "You did amazingly. Look at everything you balanced this year, school and training, and you got to that finish line. You got to the start line." Instead of not enough, didn't work hard enough, need to work harder. So replace the narrative. I wish I'd had those skills 20 years ago. Thing 5, practice this over and over when not enoughness comes calling, because it will come calling. 20 years later, I've had the support. I've learned the skills I need to deal with not enoughness. Sometimes it shows up. Sometimes I need someone to point out that I'm actually living in that place. And sometimes I need other people to help me replace my narrative. So sometimes when I'm feeling low and like I'm not enough, I'll ask someone who I know loves me for me. That often is my husband or a really good friend, my coach. What do you love about me? What do you see in me? And they're going to tell you and fill you up with enoughness. So don't hesitate to reach out to others. Okay? You are enough. Trust that. Believe that. I do. If you want any support around this area, just reach out. My website is in the comment thing below. All right. Take care. See you next time.